Welcome to Your Delaware, a Delaware-focused weekly show. I'm Jen, your Delaware Realtor. I have a great show for you today. Today we are going to be covering some top real estate news, some local news, things that have changed in the real estate industry just this past week. And we're going to look at some community events that are going on. And basically, we're just going to cover all of it. So without further ado, let's get into some local news. So I am very excited because Crumble Cookie is opening in Price's Corner. So Crumble Cookie makes these like gourmet, like absolutely delicious cookies. Now, they just opened a location in Dover, and they have now a location in Price's Corner. I believe there is one in Christiana as well, like the mall. And I mean, they're just known for their delicious, delicious cookies. They said that they expect to sell 10,000 cookies this weekend. That's insane. That is insane. You know what other cookie store has come to the Dover area? Insomnia Cookies is actually going to be in the Dover Mall, which I didn't think I'd hear myself say anytime soon, considering that the Dover Mall really doesn't have much left, let's be honest. So yes, we have cookies galore throughout Delaware, whether it be in Newcastle County, Kent County, and I'm sure of it that we are going to see some kind of Crumble Cookie or Insomnia Cookie come to Sussex County, whether it be near the beaches, especially because you can DoorDash these cookies. And I mean, honestly, when you're coming off the beach and you're hanging out with friends and you order in, why not DoorDash you some cookies as well? So it says that it is going to be in the shopping center with Five Guys, Chick-fil-A, Target. Oh, wow. It's going to be like one-stop shopping. So essentially, the store will be open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 8 a.m. to midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. They are going to be closed on Sundays to give their employees a day with their families. I love that. I absolutely love that. We don't see that very often anymore, except for Chick-fil-A right now. So this is great. So it does look like it's going to be opening up this weekend. So if you are in the area, be sure to stop in, grab a cookie, grab a dozen. I mean, honestly, they're expected to sell 10,000 cookies. That's insane. So, hopefully I wish them all the best of luck. And I'm really hoping that, I can get in there soon. It does say they are going to be rotating their lineup of 6 cookies each week. So it's kind of like a Marshall's in the fact that essentially you go in, and it's whatever 6 cookies are the flavors that week. So it says this week they're going to be having some milk chocolate chip, chocolate batter cake, or cake batter, sorry, Kentucky butter cookie, classic pink sugar M&Ms, peanut butter chocolate, and a lemon blackberry cake. Oh. And it says that if you would like a single cookie, it is $4.99. A 4-pack is $17.99. A 6-pack is $24.99. And it is $447.99 for a party box. Oh, wow. All right. So if you are throwing a party this weekend, definitely check out some Crumble Cookies. All right. So let's look at the next article that we have. So if you are like me and didn't realize that Hurricane Ernesto was coming through the area, but I wouldn't really say through the area, it was just really off the coast. You don't live in a box like I do. I did not realize that we had a hurricane off the coast. So I did go to Rehoboth last weekend, or like at the beginning of the week, and it was not bad. It was not raining. I mean, it did rain at the end, but it was not raining. It was not windy, but I will tell you that the ocean was angry. I mean, I've never seen waves like that. And it actually had washed away most of the beach. So if you are traveling to Rehoboth Beach in the next couple of days, be prepared that there's not much beach left right now. It actually was up to the sand dunes, and I was afraid it was actually going to come up the boardwalk, to be completely honest with you, although everyone else didn't seem like they were very concerned. I actually saw some people trying to play in the water, which I would not recommend with rip currents, but to each his own. But when we were in Rehoboth, they actually had to shut down Route 1 northbound in Dewey, right near the Indian River Bridge, because they had the water had come over the sand dune. So earlier in the week, they had tried to build up that part, putting some rocks. As you can see from this picture, they tried to put some rocks right here. And it seems that it just was not enough. Hurricane Ernesto was way too strong for them. So it said it stayed off 700 miles offshore, but it definitely caused some trouble for the first state. So if you have ever come over this bridge, you know people love to surf here. Love. And I'm assuming because it has really good waves. But there's normally a beach here. At least something. This is not. And as you can see, they were just trying to clean this all up. It was shut down, I want to say, yes. Oh, both directions. So when I first saw it, it was just northbound, but it looks like they had it shut down in both directions just before 8 p.m. on Sunday. And I remember actually we were on the Rehoboth Beach boardwalk and we were actually going to head down to Dewey and then saw this and realized that we would not be able to get through. So this just kind of oh, wow. Wow. Okay, I can understand why they would shut down both sides. I did not realize that it had breached the dune that much. That's whew. For those that don't know, Dewey is actually below sea level. So when we do get bad storms, they do have to shut down Route 1. I would say quite frequently. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I really do think it's quite frequently. So just keep in mind if you were going to be traveling through Dewey during a nor'easter or a storm that is 700 miles off of the coast, you may have to find an alternative route when you're down there because Dewey does flood. But they are trying to clean it up. I'm sure they're going to be dredging at some point, trying to build back these beaches, because when I tell you that the drop off from just the boardwalk to the sand dunes, and then you couldn't really see much of the beach, but then you saw this like massive drop off. There's not much beach really left right now. So I'm sure they're going to be building it back, especially as we come into Labor Day weekend. I cannot see them leaving it like that, but I mean, they don't have much time to get the beach back where it needs to be, especially since they would need it to be essentially empty to put the sand back on the beach. And let's be honest, it's very, very busy down in Rehoboth right now. So, all right. So in other news, which this part I'm so excited for, Marva Power electric customers will see a refund on their next bill. I have heard many people tell me that their Marva Power, mine included, was astronomical in January. I mean, I really thought that they had double charged me. That's how high my bill was in January. Now, it did go back down in February, but I could not figure out what was going on. And I heard many people saying the same thing. So the company announced on August 15th that a refund is a result of lower electric rates approved by the Public Service Commission in April. Why it took 7 months? No, not 7 months. It took a while though. Okay, so what this is saying is that this approval came after Marva Power submitted an electric rate case filing on December 15th, 2022, 2 years ago, followed by the implementation of Ingram 7 months late on July 15th, 2023. Oh, so they were actually late. Got it. Okay. So essentially what they're saying is that your next bill is you are going to be refunded the difference in rates they paid between July 15th, 2023 and April 23rd of this year, plus interest. So for those, I don't know what the rate difference is, honestly, but it would be a one-time rate refund, that's what you'll see on your bill. So if you, this would, for anyone that rented and moved, this kind of stinks because you essentially may not get that credit because you don't live there anymore. So that's actually, it does say that the refunds will be sent out as of August 15th, and it should be on your September bill. So I don't believe I've received my September bill, but I will be looking to make sure that I receive that credit, especially since, like I said, my Marva Power bill has been astronomical. And let's be honest, I haven't been using much more electric. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm very excited about that. I am hoping that this means that our rates are coming down slightly. Fingers crossed on that. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's going to, but it did say that the average, okay, so it says we'll see a bill decrease of $2.62 which is a 1.85%. So from 141.72 to 139.10. Okay. I don't know how much this credit is going to be, like less than $50 from what I'm understanding, at least for my bill. Says the company also noted that a small percentage of customers may have received a duplicate bill. This issue was quickly identified and resolved, assuring customers that the correct refund credit will appear on their next bill. I do say I'm on where they just pull it automatically, and I will say that they have definitely double billed me a couple times. So definitely keep an eye on your Marva Power bill. Definitely want to do that. Okay. All right. So let's get into some national news. So this past week, Kamla Harris has announced what her plans were. And she is announcing that she plans to give first-time homebuyers $25,000 towards closing costs or a down payment. And the question that this article is asking is, will this level the playing field or will this drive prices higher? Okay, so here is my thought on this. It does not matter what political side, whoever says it, honestly. I do not understand why we keep wanting to address the demand side and not the supply side. And I get it. It's easier just to throw money at the problem than it is to actually address the problem. And really, the problem is that we have a supply shortage. So by throwing money at the demand side, this is just going to make this 10 times worse. So essentially, you're going to have more demand because first-time home buyers are going to have what they think more money to purchase. And at that point, we are going to drive the demand up, which is just going to result in home prices skyrocketing, like what we just went through during COVID. We had no supply. We had low interest rates, so we had high buyer demand. And essentially, this is why we saw such an epic increase in home prices. And this is literally what's going to happen again. I don't understand how they don't see it. To me, the most logical place to start would be getting investors out of the market, allowing families to purchase the homes. We do not need Wall Street, and we do not need these investors who are just going to jack up your rent. And also, I think that foreign entities or whoever need to not be allowed to purchase property in the United States. I mean, us as the United States, we're not allowed to purchase property in China or Europe if we don't have citizenship. So why are they allowed to do it here? And I'll be completely honest. I have who they say, and I have foreign investors essentially that reach out all the time. They tell me that they live in some country. I'm not going to name what country they live in. And they would like to purchase an investment property in Delaware. And to be completely honest with you, I do not answer them because I want to help families and I want to help people retire to Delaware. And I want to help people. I don't want someone coming in and essentially just buying a rental property and then jacking up the price and continuing to jack up the price. There are fellow rental agents that have been complaining just this week about the fact that rent has just increased astronomically over the past, honestly, 4 years. So for me, I think this is just going to drive prices higher. I don't think this is the right way to go. I really think we need to address the supply concerns, whether it be that we give, I don't even know, like incentives for builders or like tax breaks for like builders or something, anything to help have affordable homes and address the supply issue instead of addressing the demand issue. And instead of just throwing money at a problem, really addressing it and figuring it out. Like I said, this does not matter what side you are. It doesn't matter. It really breaks down to addressing the supply issue. I really think is what's going to help us. So, all right. Well, now that I've gone on that little rant, let's switch over. So an article came out at Realtor.com that said they wanted to ask home buyers how low interest rates needed to go in order to them to want to purchase a home. And I was a little surprised by this. Many home buyers said that they would want home price or interest rates to fall below 6%. This person, she was looking to purchase in Arizona. Her price range was between $500,000 and $1 million. And she said, I would like interest rates to go below 6% and then I would purchase. I did not think below 6%. I really thought they were going to say below 5, below 4, 2, which I don't think we're ever really going to ever see again. But yeah, I think at $500,000 to $1 million, if that is your budget, I mean, even below 6%, that still makes your monthly payment pretty hefty. Now, this person their price range was from $300 to $450, and they wanted to see rates go below 5. Now, this is more what I was expecting. I was expecting someone to say that their budget was between $300 and $450 because that seems to be the sweet spot, and I totally understand. And they wanted to see rates go below 5. I think this person is definitely, I think she's reasonable. This is how I would feel if I was a buyer. I would want rates to be below 5, and I, just based off of my own personal budget, would want to purchase a house between $300 and $450 if the market allowed it. And she said she bought a house in 2021 with a loan of the fixed rate as 3.2%. While the rate was great, she purchased right when the real estate prices had peaked, paying more than $100,000 over asking. To cover this loan, her family gifted her money, which ended up being messy, she says. Ugh, yeah. So it sounds like she has to pay her mortgage, plus she has to pay back her family, which essentially she has been doing by doing side hustles. And after she sells, she plans to rent until she can afford to get back into the market. Oh, I'm sorry. So she is trying to sell her current house so that she can pay that mortgage and pay her family back. Ooh. See, this is why back in 2020, 2021, even 2022, I was saying, if you don't think you can afford, do not purchase. Do not make the FOMO essentially make you want to purchase a house that is over your budget and makes you do absolutely crazy things like borrowing money, especially if you don't have a good relationship with the people that you borrowed money from. So, that stinks. This person says, as an investor, I want rates to be in the low 6 range. So this is what's really, really frustrating. as an investor, I do not think you should be like, I personally think there's got to be some kind of like regulation, whether it be that a home has to be on the market for, I don't even know, 3 weeks, a month before an investor can purchase it. I just think that having investors come in with cash, because let's be honest, they always have cash, and or this person doesn't have cash actually, but they seem to always have cash. So they beat out families that are looking for, their family home essentially. And then they automatically rent it out before even like closing essentially, which that drives me nuts. So yeah, I just think there's got to be some kind of regulation. This person says, with rates now under 6.5%, we are no longer waiting. Okay. So this person decided that they were not going to try and time the market. They said, we've decided that we're no longer going to wait for rates to decline. And they said, because it is likely that the home prices will increase when the interest rate decreases. I think they've been paying attention. I would rather buy now and refinance later to be sure that I can buy at a reasonable price. This person seems like they have a good head on their shoulders, but I get it. If you are looking to see if rates are going to come down, and by reading everything, you are anticipating that the rates will come down, just know that there is a chance that if you do wait and rates do come down, what this person says is that home prices will likely increase just because of pent up buyer demand and people getting back into the market. So I think that kind of gives you an idea of across the board where people are looking, where they're thinking about getting back in, whether it be right now when they're under 6.5 or under 6, under 5. There's different areas. Obviously, you're going to, want to look at different things. But yeah, it depends on what you're like looking for essentially. So the next article. So let's talk about this. In my last video, we talked about on August 17th, the real estate industry was going to be changing. And essentially what I mentioned was that NAR, the National Association of Realtors, had settled essentially a class action lawsuit, and the buyer's agent commission was going to be decoupled from the listing agent's commission. So I found this article to be great, and I really want to show you why. So Indiana decided that they were going to put into practice, they were going to implement the changes on July 1st instead of waiting until August 17th. So they had 45 days as like a head start essentially in rolling out these changes. And the changes being that before you see a house, you have to have a buyer representation agreement. You also have, when you submit an offer, you not only have the agreement of sale or the contract, but you also have the buyer's agent agreement commission form, which basically says this is what the buyer's agent is asking for. And what they found is that nothing changed really. So while everyone has been predicting this realtor apocalypse essentially, and the media has been fear-mongering you into thinking that buyers essentially are getting screwed, it's really nothing really changed. So essentially, sellers were still offering a commission to buyer's agents. So buyers weren't having to pay their agent commission. It said nearly 98% of sellers continued to offer compensation to buyer's agents. Some agents even reported an increase in income by clearly defining their fee structure upfront and with each offer. So, and it says, surprise, incentives drive demand. So basically, if you are offering a commission and your neighbor is not, that helps your home sale. So it is helping people to, one, most likely get more money for their house, two, drive like this, basically drive demand for your house as opposed to your neighbor. And the only thing that changed is that it's more paperwork for me, essentially. I have to have you sign a paper before we tour a house that basically says, this is what I charge. And if the seller is not offering me anything, then you as the buyer will make up the difference, or we will figure it out. But I think what's happening here is that it's going to give you a competitive edge as the seller. We can no longer put it on the MLS. So it's not like people know before showing the house, essentially, what you're offering or not offering. And I think it's going to I do think there's going to be downward pressure on commissions. But I ultimately think that the thought that, oh, I don't need a realtor, or, I'm not going to be represented, I just don't think that is the case. People want realtors, right? Like, not everyone. Some people, most people, I think most want a realtor, because buying a house is the largest purchase that you will ever make, probably in your lifetime. And the fact of the matter is that you're not buying a house every day. So you're not in it every day. So most people do not know the paperwork, do not know how not to get sued, how to negotiate the repairs, especially if a buyer comes in unrepresented. They essentially they don't realize that you as the seller only need to address the major defects. They're asking for everything, minor safety defects, everything, because they don't understand. They don't do this every day. They also don't know that they have to, in Delaware, contact an attorney. They just don't know. So at least most of my clients have said, I need a realtor. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to get screwed. I don't want to get sued either. And they're willing to pay a realtor. So I personally think that I do think that this was needed, 1,000%. I think that having a contract with the buyer, I guess it's a little bit more skin in the game, essentially, and it's just like a listing agreement. Like, our buyer representation agreements look just like our listing agreements, and they can be canceled in writing, just like a listing agreement can. So I personally think they were needed. And I'm very happy with the change. And like I said, I didn't think a realtor apocalypse was going to happen, but I know many people did. No. And the media, I saw what they were seeing. Like, the media was just basically like, buyers are getting screwed. You're going to have to pay a commission. Now home prices are high, plus this, plus that, plus this, plus this. And the American dream is gone, basically. And the American dream was basically on the brink before all this, heads up. But I don't think that this is what put us over the edge. And like I said, Indiana has already rolled this out for 45 days and they had nearly no changes. It is just more paperwork for me, which, I mean, it comes with the job, right? So just keep that in mind when you are starting to shop for a house and you contact me and we are talking about the agreement. Essentially, we are just going to go over the agreement, what it says. Like I said, if you want to cancel with someone, you can, in writing, and it has it on there in the contract, and you can negotiate that with your realtor on how many days. There's also touring agreements where it could be a day touring agreement or a 3-day touring agreement. But just know that if you do decide to tour with someone and you decide to write an offer, even if it's not within that one day, there's a certain period of time where that agent is owed a commission. So like I said, just keep that in mind. But I really, I'm happy that, a market already rolled it out. I really think that was a great idea. And I think that ultimately this is a good thing. All right, let's switch gears to the market. Let's talk about the market. So I found this article to be very, very interesting. Unemployment falls by $18,000 in latest government revision. So essentially what they're saying is that the report that came out, it was wrong. So they said that they were off by a lot. So this is definitely going to come into play when the Fed is deciding on what to do at the Fed meeting. Now, it is predicted that at the September Fed meeting that Jerome Powell is going to make a rate cut to the Fed rate. It has been all over the board, whether it is going to be 75 basis points, 50 basis points, 25 basis points. I personally think it's going to be 25 basis points, which would bring the Fed rate to around 5%. And me personally, I think we are going to sit at 5% for the remainder of 2024. And they're going to see how it plays out. Does inflation go up? Does inflation stay the same? Does inflation go down? But I will say that the job report coming out is going to have a significant impact on how many rate cuts we see in 2024 and how many basis points. So my prediction is that we will see just one rate cut in 2024, and that being in September. There are economists that are predicting that we will see 3 rate cuts in 2024, which I personally think is insane. I just don't see that happening, but there are some people that are saying that could happen. So, I mean, I personally think that we just need to obviously keep our eyes on the Fed meeting in September, and just kind of see where we go from here. I think that personally, just my personal opinion, I think that inflation would skyrocket if we had 3 rate cuts in 2024, because it's going to put downward pressure on mortgage rates. And then how is the home prices not going to skyrocket again? We just talked about buyer demand and how, like, if you have buyer demand increase, the home prices increase. So I just keep that in mind. I don't see it. So we'll see. He is expected to deliver a speech at 10 a.m. on Friday. And hopefully it kind of gives us a little indication on what he is thinking. Now, he's always very vague to me personally. But we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. So my prediction, essentially, like I just said, is that if he does do a rate cut in September, we are most likely going to see downward pressure on mortgage rates if they're not already priced in. And I think we're just going to remain kind of here for the rest of 2024. If he does drop rates multiple times, the Fed rate multiple times, I do expect us to see mortgage rates come down and then buyer demand come up and then prices go up. So this was another article that I thought was super, super interesting. So it is home price forecast for the next 5 years. So it says NAR as of April 2024 paints a picture that the median existing home sale prices remain high, near record highs, at $393,500 for existing home sales and $430,700 for new construction. I will say that these numbers Delaware is higher than these numbers. I would say by like $40,000. Our median home price for existing sales is more like between like $430 essentially, and our new construction is more like $474. I don't think I could get you into a house below that, to be honest with you, especially with all of the upgrades and everything else. So Delaware, like I said, is just, I wouldn't say significantly, but slightly higher than the numbers that they have right now. So they think that essentially price increases are going to be across the board nationally which I also predict too, especially since what we just talked about with the Fed. So they think that while right now the mortgage rates might slightly diverge, they think that there's going to be a gradual upward trend in mortgage rates for the next 2 years. And this aligns with Freddie Mac as well. So buyers can expect to hover in the mid to high single digits through 2026. And then we would potentially see a stabilization or even a slight decrease in rates by 2028. Now, this hinges heavily on the broader economic climate. So yeah, we're going to have to kind of see what the Fed does. It says if we have a sluggish economic performance, it could prompt the Fed to ease back on the brakes and potentially lead to lower mortgage rates. So like I just said, it really just depends what the Fed decides to do towards the end of, well, either in September and towards the end of 2024. But I really think that Jerome Powell is going, because he's going for that soft landing, I really think that he is more of a, we'll change one thing and then we'll wait it out and see what happens. So I just don't expect any more rate decreases in 2024. So it says inventory is going to remain limited. Now, we are seeing builders are continuing to build, which is great, but I'm definitely not seeing it at the rate that we were building in during COVID personally. I know a lot of salespeople that I've talked to in new construction, their sales are down. Now this depends on different areas of Delaware, but like the beaches, for example, are not like they're busy. I was just down there yesterday and they are booming. And places like Middletown, they are also building, but places like Smyrna, honestly, we have seen a little bit of a dip. And what we're finding is that buyers are looking for amenities. They want places that if they're paying an HOA fee, that it has a clubhouse, that it has an outdoor pool, that it has walking trails, they want the works essentially. And they also want the amenities as like for shopping. They want the grocery stores, they want the Costco, Sam's Club, all those things, the Walmart, all these things, they want all of the like to be in the area and be in a close vicinity. So at least in Smyrna, for example. So that is what I'm seeing just in the past few weeks. But I do expect that inventory is going to remain limited, especially if these rates come down. And then we have this underlying demand that is just waiting for the rates to come down, as we saw in the other article. And we're ultimately we're just going to have to, we're going to have to, hopefully builders start building, but I really think we need to incentivize builders and fix the supply concerns more than the demand concerns personally. And if this $25,000 does go into effect, I fear what could happen to the market. I think we would be very close to where we were during COVID personally. So just something to keep in mind. Alrighty, so switching over to mortgage rates. So mortgage rates did fall to 6.46% this week. So they're calling it buyer-friendly end of summer. So for those, like I said in that one article, they said because rates were under 6.5 that they were ready to purchase because they were afraid that as the rates became lower, that prices were going to increase and they would rather buy now and then refinance. Now, we did see a significant amount of refinances come through the mortgage application world this past week. Mostly it was the buyers that purchased in the past 2 years, essentially, maybe a year, that they're sitting, well above 7, and they're saying at 6.46%, they can save $200 a month, sometimes more, depends on, what the program was, how much you put down, your equity in the home. There's many different factors that go into it, but we did see rates start to fall, which, I feel like is a good thing, but at the same time, I know that I know that it's going to drive prices up. So I'm fully expecting to see people come out of the woodworks in wanting to get back into this market, especially if they have been sitting on the sidelines. So if you are one of those buyers, please reach out. My information is down below. No. All right, so now we are part of the show where I am going to feature a local business. So last night we had tacos from Taco Yardin. They have 2 trucks. So they are located in Smyrna. So they have a truck that sits at Painted Stave in Smyrna, which is the distillery, which if you have not tried their drinks, they are phenomenal. And if you have not tried their tacos, they are phenomenal. They also have a food truck that goes to different events. So whether you're looking for a wedding or you are looking to, like, they go to neighborhoods a lot, and they'll be at a certain neighborhood from such and such time. And then everyone comes out and they buy their tacos, and it's like usually a dinner thing. I know that they do a lot of businesses during the day for lunch. I know that they're at Southern States in Clayton sometimes. I mean, they're really just all over the place. And they do travel. And like I said, they are phenomenal. So I got the carnitas tacos. I love the pickled onions. I also got an empanada, but they were just on the menu for last night, and it was huge. I'm talking like this empanada was this big. It was, I did not expect that. I'm glad I only got one. I sent my husband to go get them, but they do have a website that you can order online as well if you are interested, if you don't want to go and pick it up. I just sent him to go pick it up just because, he had been home all day, right? But I definitely highly recommend them. They have street tacos, they have nachos, they have, you name it. Like, they have everything. And they're constantly, I feel like, changing their menu, like seasonally. And yes, I highly, highly, highly recommend. If you are also having like a food truck festival, I would reach out, make sure that they're part of it, because I love them so much. They're so good. So good. And they are meaty. I just want to give you a heads up that you are 100% getting a huge taco. It is stuffed to the brim. So highly recommend. They come on corn tortillas, which is great. So, and they double them up because I know that they put so much stuff in them that the tortilla would fall apart if not. So some community events that are going on, not this weekend, actually next weekend. We have Odessa Brew Fest, which is September 7th, which is located in Odessa. So I believe it's just going to be like an Oktoberfest. There are no dogs, no kids allowed. You do have to be 21 to enter, but that is a great time. I know they have that basically every year. People dress up. They wear the overall things. I don't know what they're called. I'm very sorry if I just offended someone, but I don't know what they're called. But the whole Oktoberfest, people get really, really into it. So that's a great time. I also want to mention, for fellow moms and for dads, there is a Just Between Friends sale that will be happening September 11th through the 15th at the Delaware State Fairgrounds. So in Harrington, it is huge. I definitely highly recommend that you stop in if you are looking for literally anything. I have gotten Nora so many different outfits for literally 50 cents. There are cribs, there are Power Wheels, there are mom books, there are so many, the household goods. It is packed to the brim, and they do such a nice job. It's very well organized. You can get tickets, I believe, on their website, which I'll put down in the description. I highly recommend it. I'm definitely going this year. There's definitely a few things that I need to be looking for. If you are looking for a swing, there's so many things. Tubs, it's all secondhand, but it's in good condition, and I highly recommend, because you can really get some good deals there. So like I said, that'll be September 11th through the 15th. So definitely check that out if you are looking for things for your kids, especially because I believe this will be the only sale going into Christmas. So stock up with some toys for your kids. They won't know if it's new or not. So that's always a good one. I love that sale personally. So switching into our decorating home tip. All right. So here is what I found to be super interesting. There are 7 luxury real estate trends to watch. One of them being, which I found to be really cool. Most people, when they're looking for homes now, they are looking for health and wellness, meaning can they put a sauna in their house somewhere? Can they put an ice bath somewhere on their property? I'm seeing it more and more and more, especially with touring with clients. That is actually one of their number one wants, is that they need to have a place where they can put their sauna, whether it be the garage or the basement. They want a workout room. They want some kind of space that they can set up a gym. I did not expect that, but it has been across the board. I've seen it multiple times where they are looking for some kind of gym space. They want it in-house, just because if COVID were to ever happen again, which I obviously would hope not, they can work out, because a lot of people, that was their number one concern, especially for mental health. They were like, I'm going stir crazy. I'm stuck in my house. I can't go to the gym. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't be outside. And I get it. It was totally crazy. And like, I love my knockoff Peloton bike, and now, like, going through COVID and looking back, I'm like, I really wish I would have worked out more, but I 100% recommend. Sauna is on my list, and so is an ice bath. So I completely understand. And I would definitely, if you do have a house that has all of that, I would highly recommend that you feature that if you are planning to sell your house, because it definitely seems like that is what buyers are looking for. All right, so that wraps up this week's episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. We went over a lot. We went over some local news, some national news, what the market is doing, where we're headed, and also some local community events. And make sure that you check out Taco Yardin in Smyrna. It is delicious. You will not regret it. I promise you that. And make sure that if you see Charles, or Cheeks, that's what I call him, that you tell him Jen sent you. I really hope that this video helped. If it did, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you are a buyer that is looking to purchase in Delaware, I would absolutely love the opportunity to help you. My information is down below in the description, so please feel free to send me an email. If you are a seller that is looking to sell your property in Delaware, I would also love the opportunity to help you. There is a link down below in the description for an instant valuation of what your home is worth, or you can send me an email and I can send you a personalized CMA. Once again, I really hope this video helped. If it did, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Hey, if you were thinking about moving to Delaware, you should definitely check out this video right here. And if you would love to tour Delaware new construction homes with me, check out this playlist right here. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel.